Hello. It's not live yet. Oh, there's no echo. Hello. That's so short. Hello. Where is the echo? Perfect. All right, it's 1 o'clock. Okay. All right. Hi, everybody. We're gonna get started in a couple of minutes. I can see a lot of people dialing in now. So we're gonna give 2 minutes and then we'll go ahead and start.
Thanks for being on time. Thank you.
Okay, great. All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to SilkRoll's first ever live investor founder Q&A session over a live broadcast on YouTube. We're really excited for you guys to be here, and I'm sure you all found out about us through our Republic campaign page. We're going to start the session today with an intro of the two of us, and I'm Janet, the co-founder and CEO. This is my co-founder, Aaron, who is the COO at SilkRoll. And then we're going to go and move on to the Q&A session. So the intention of this session is really to give everybody who don't know us a chance to meet us, and also the opportunity to ask questions that you have, and or whatever else that you have on your mind about our business and the investment opportunity. So it's going to be very interactive. All right. So I'm going to start with a little bit of a background of myself. I was born in China and I grew up in the UK. I went to school there and started my career as an investment banker in London. So I did that for over 10 years, and I worked for Deutsche Bank and Bank of China International in mainly the debt capital markets divisions, where I was responsible for the origination, execution, and syndication of public debt deals. And I've done over $30 billion worth of financing with over 30 publicly listed clients from all over the world, lots of them from Asia. And so my experience is really in the capital markets and finance. I joined a startup called One Earth Designs 4 years ago as their chief financial officer and head of strategy, which is a clean tech startup. And that the move from Hong Kong to San Francisco is really what inspired me to start SilkRoll. Some of you may have read in my letter to the investors on our page, my entire closet when I moved from San Francisco to here became obsolete. And I wanted to really solve this problem at large of how do we purge our really valuable possessions in our closets while refreshing our entire closet without breaking the bank. And you can see from, behind us, this is where we work. And this is literally our space where all of our trade ins and outs come through. It's expanding, and we're becoming very innovative in the space. And all of this has been organically contributed by our users. We didn't spend $1 on this inventory. So it's been pretty amazing. And with that, I'll pass the mic to Erin to give you guys an intro.
Hi, everybody. My name's Erin Wold. So Janet, shared her vision for this company with me. And I'll talk a little bit in a minute about what I did before I started, working on SilkRoll with Janet as the Chief Operating Officer. But when she came to me and said, I have all these really nice things that, designer things that I will never wear again. My 27-year-old student loan debt girl over here was like, wow, I would give anything to be able to turn all of those dresses that I bought for weddings and I'm never going to wear into this new wardrobe and be able to access all these things that she wasn't going to wear anymore. Because I was moving up in my career and, as a professional. So, I don't have that cash to be able to spend on things like that, but I had resources and I had already spent cash on things. So I thought the idea was really interesting, and why I am qualified, really to step in as Janet's partner is that, prior to joining, I was the Chief People Officer at Red Cap. So Red Cap is a service valet company where we have the software installed in dealerships all over the country to provide a valet service. So essentially what that looks like is people are hired to work in partnership with the dealership to support vehicle logistics and bringing vehicles in for service and returning them when service is complete. So what I was responsible for doing was scaling that business nationwide and recruiting and training and onboarding, and then coming up with, really clever ways to have this logistics work. After scaling the company into almost every Lincoln dealership in the country in 2016, I left and I came on full time here with Janet at SilkRoll to, grow the operation and have it really work. So that's a little bit about me. In addition, I'll just say the other thing about that is I also took that experience. They even started a resume writing marketplace as well. So if anyone goes to their LinkedIn profile, you may notice that I have a team of resume writers that are matched with clients, and it's a pretty automated system. And that's another thing that I also started. And we have hundreds and hundreds of clients a month that use that service.
All right, great. So how this is going to work today is that you can see on the right-hand side of your screen that there's a live chat function. For anybody who wants to ask a question, if you could just type it in there, and then we'll be monitoring this chat, and I will be answering the questions in the sequence that they come. And we'll have an hour to do this until 2 o'clock. So we'll be around. And while there are no questions, we will be, we're happy to just talk about SilkRoll and our story and the common questions that we hear from the investors on the journey. All right, so with that said, let's get started. You will have to log in to a Gmail or YouTube account in order to ask questions.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I see that there's a first question from Ravi. Did you guys see Moana and Coco? If you could be a little bit more specific.
I think Moana's a Disney movie. I'm like Googling this. I'm like, is there something I'm missing?
While we are looking for some specifications, anybody else feel free to pop a question in there.
I think this person is joking. I appreciate a funny audience. All right, Janet, why don't you?
Right.
Okay.
So one of the common questions that we get recently, especially, is when on the Republic page, especially, that we get a lot of male investors and potential investors. And everybody has been asking us, what is your plan to expand product category? So right now, the service is only available for women's apparel and handbags. And we do see a lot of demand already. We're getting inquiries from guys and male friends to ask about the service. And there is definitely a plan to expand this into the male menswear category. And the focus on that will be high sort of accessories, high-end to luxury items. And we think there's going to be a lot of demand, especially for guys who have switched careers and their entire closet, say from Wall Street to Silicon Valley, is completely different. And we know that men overall carry actually higher quality and expensive items in their closets. So there's definitely a demand, and the product category will be expanded once we have nailed the vertical of the female category.
Okay, so we have a question that came in. It says, can you talk a little bit about your competition?
Yeah, perfect. So right now, and you'll see on our Republic campaign page that there is a slide about competition and who is really in the landscape. So the resale and consignment online industry has really exploded in the last 5 to 7 years. And several startups in that space have done extremely well with slightly different business models. Mm-hmm. The ones out there that are in the similar space, Poshmark, for example, has done really, really well. They have now generated over, I think their annual revenue is over $100 million. And they are a peer-to-peer platform where users trade, buy and sell fashion items themselves, and they handle their own logistics. It's a community. And
it's very similar to eBay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's a mobile friendly, engagement friendly version of eBay. Mm-hmm. Then we have another set of companies out there who are actually taking on operations like what we're doing here that are targeted at higher end market, because the quality assurance that customers want with these high end products are at a lot of value. And these are companies like The RealReal, for example. They're a luxury online consignment platform, and they in the last 7 years have gone also from 0 to 500 million in revenue. The founder and CEO of The RealReal, I personally know her, Julie. She is an amazing and awesome woman, and she shares the vision of the sheer opportunity in this market. And we also have ThredUp, who is a more broader and large scale online thrift shop. They are also growing really, really fast, and I think they've got millions of users on their site now. Having said all of that, all of these services are using a very traditional model in the sense that it's still a buy and sell, exchange. And the issue with that, and what we see there's a gap to be filled, is that as a seller or a consigner, you're going to get your 10 cents on the dollar back, or whatever it is, 20 cents dollar on the back. And that is still not fulfilling and not rewarding psychologically and also monetarily for the sellers. And this is why you see a lot of attrition in these markets. And it's really hard to keep customers loyal to your platform, because they can go and try to sell the same thing across different platforms and see which one gets them more cash. Mm. Now, what differentiates all of these platforms differentiates us is that SilkRoll's users are 6 times more loyal and more engaged. And that is really because we have built an ecosystem where they receive in reward the points that's equivalent to the original retail value that they spend on their purchases. And now they can use the points to purchase something of equivalent value. But at the end of it, they're not really shopping with money. And this, in addition, especially for a lot of women out there, creates a guilt-free shopping experience. And that is why the business model is extremely sticky. And you might have seen in our video, over 95% of our very first beta users, initial users, has stayed with us throughout the entire journey. And when we released payment features in July this year, none of them went away. They stayed and become paying customers. So the conversion there is
So I think
amazing.
what a good thing then to put into to expand upon then. So if people are like, wow, you get guilt-free shopping, great, you're not spending money. So how do you make money? I think is a question that if you haven't figured it out is something that you definitely need to know, especially in this conversation right now. Exactly. So why don't we talk about a little bit about the business model?
Yeah, the monetization. Exactly, right? So that really naturally comes. Okay, so there are 3 ways we're monetizing the business right now. One is through membership. So about half of our users right now are already regular subscribers, which means they pay us a monthly fee of $29 to use the service. Or they can be they can pay a transaction fee, just like how you spend your frequent flyer miles, and we charge 5% on the points redeemed. So if they spend 100 points, we charge them $5
to use the points. And what we see is that we see a lot of you members sign up and then they send in their first bag of clothes and get their points. And when they use their points, they oftentimes will either convert to a membership right away, especially if their transaction fee is, up to our monthly membership fee. Or they start to make more frequent transactions and then they see that the membership model really does work for them. And then we also have a lot of users who, they don't like to become members of things. So they just, choose to use the transaction fee at option as they go along. And then, so in addition to those 2 monetization avenues, we have a third. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so our third monetization, which it potentially will be the most lucrative one, is actually we sell points for cash. So for users who don't actually have enough points to get what they want, and because all of our items are unique, so there's only one piece. If you don't get it now, it could be gone tomorrow. The user can purchase points to shop, and we sell them in bundles right now. We've monetized on that as well since the beginning of July, and that is actually going forward as we have more and more supply onto our platform. We really see that as being one of the anchors to revenue.
Yeah, and then with that said, there's certain products that people will see that they want right now, and if they don't have enough points for them, they'll buy points. And one thing that we've noticed over the time, as people are making more and more transactions, there's certain products that people really want. And Janet, I think another thing to talk about right now and share with everybody and educate them on is the dynamic pricing model.
Sure. Let's just give it a minute to see if anybody else has any additional questions.
Perfect.
If not, we can move on to talk about that.
And again, for those of you, if anyone's joined since we explained, there's a live chat box on the right of this screen, this video. If you're not logged in, you just have to simply log in with a Gmail account, or if you have a different account that you use for YouTube, you can log in there as well. And we'll give you just a minute to see how to do that if you haven't gotten a chance to do that. And then we'll take the next set of questions that we get. How do you come up with 6 times more loyal?
Right. Great question. So on an average, so our members, I can share with you, transact on average once a week, sometimes actually more, to once every 2 weeks. And that is, according to our research and studies, 6 times more regular than the traditional e-commerce sites, which have an engagement rate of about 1 transaction every 2 to 3 months. So that's really where we'll come up with a number. And we're also being very conservative because a lot of e-commerce sites actually deal with attrition of customers as well. And almost all of our customers do come back to us to transact.
Our retention is crazy awesome.
Cool. All right. Okay. So we can pause this topic right now and go into the whole points and how it really operates and the opportunity we see. And during that period, please feel free to drop in any questions. We'll be monitoring it and we can move on to answering those. So one of the really big and key differentiators. Oh, sorry, actually, before I start that, we just saw another question coming in. All right, what's your plan to launch a mobile app? Okay, great question. We, on our product roadmap, that will be the next thing that we're going to target to do once we have secured funding to do that. That is really on the development end of our product roadmap. And right now, we're seeing with our web-based service, we're seeing about a 50-50 engagement from mobile versus desktop. And interestingly enough, we're seeing the more transactions are actually being done on the desktop, even though the interaction and the browsing happens 50-50 mobile versus desktop. So the mobile app is definitely in our next year's roadmap with funding. And that will allow us to create features that are more push friendly and notification friendly.
Yeah, totally.
It will enable us to allow users to see the notifications from each other. So if Jessica traded in a dress and then Chloe here bought it, Chloe will get a push notification from Jessica that, oh, Jessica, you just got the dress from Jessica, and Jessica will get a push notification, and that allows us to build a community with style mates.
Yeah, so and so for those of you who use and know what Venmo is, the feature looks very similar to that. You can see who's paying, that so and so paid so and so, and why we want to build these community featured elements. And versus just creating a traditional e-commerce site where you just buy stuff is so that you as the user can see who's taking your products, and then that gives you access to a style mate. And who a style mate is somebody who's your size, your style, and it allows you to have a really curated experience for shopping and help you discover, other clothes that you'll want to take with your points. I mean, hands down across the board, what we're seeing with our customers is that there's groups of people that all take things from each other, so that's been really awesome to watch that kind of behavior and to really get a clear sense of what we can create for our customers. So I would say that I've always been disappointed that we haven't built an app yet, right? Because we're in San Francisco, we have a website, and everybody asks us when are we going to have an app. However, we've done a lot of research. We have a lot of data to know what there is for us to build. So the timing couldn't be better.
All right, cool. So next, we're going to go back to talking about the vision for the points and exchanges. My background is in investment banking, and I worked on the trading floor for over 10 years, and I really understand how exchanges work. So we created a digital currency because we're really going to interrupt the way that the current clothing exchanges work.
Yeah.
Right. So for those of you who actually have seen our sneak preview, we talked about the fast depreciation of clothing for women, right? So the minute you buy it, it depreciates by over 50%. Even if you've never worn it, go and try to resell it in a consignment store. You'll be lucky to get 20% net, right? Net taxes, net commission back. So with the digital currency, it allows a new purchasing power.
Yes, absolutely.
For users through points. And on top of that, it really creates, for those of you who are familiar with cryptocurrencies and Bitcoins, it starts to create a new sense of exchange that is detached from the cash value of what these items, people have already paid and sold these items for. And the possibility there is endless, because then we're moving on to a real market-driven economy for things in your closet. And when I say that, I mean, an example is that our pricing algorithm, right, due to my background, can be built as dynamic as really understanding the exact demand and supply for each type of product, and the brand based on brand, type, category, color, and so on and so forth, to allow us to give users the knowledge, right, and transparency on what kind of products are gaining traction in the marketplace. Therefore, we're raising the points values for these products. So even if you trade in a product that costed you $60 originally, and this is happening on our website right now, Lululemon yoga tank tops and leggings. What originally people spend $60 to $70 by are now being awarded 250 points. And just so that everybody knows, our 1 point is equal to $1, right? That's how we're valuing everything based on retail value. So Lululemon started trading up on our platform because of the shortage of supply. And now users who trade in these products can earn triple the points value. And this pricing dynamic will allow us to optimize the efficiency of our marketplace.
Yeah, for sure.
And give us the ability to access the high demand products faster and faster, because users will see, oh, if I traded in that, it's actually worth 250 points. Where in reality to them, they're getting rid of it because they actually no longer need it. So one person's, in the classic terms of a woman closets, right? One person's trash might be another person's treasure, and only the market, we're allowing that to decide what is valuable and what's not.
Yeah, exactly. Anything else about that? We have a question. Okay. So the next question is, how will you serve plus size customers? I've tried shopping on your site and had little luck. And how can a user more easily choose that are, for example, non-leather?
Okay, great. Thank you for your question. So with the initial group of customers we've had, yes, you're right. A lot of them have been in the smaller sizes. Small to medium are our most popular sizes. Having said that, we're very size agnostic. This supply issue will dissipate over time as we get more and more users onto the platform. And because we, maybe this is something in San Francisco specifically, we started here with our initial group of users. People tend to be mostly, what I've seen, small sizes. But since we started marketing our service across the country, now we're nationwide. We are starting to see a lot more variety in sizes and also product varieties come onto the platform. And we also can, as I said, with the flexibility in the point system, when we start to notice, for example, extra larges are actually getting a lot of demand and not enough supply, we have the ability to start increasing prices as increase the points that we'll reward for the plus size users if they trade in more plus size.
Yeah, and that's how, again, this whole supply demand equilibrium right now. People essentially earn more points for plus size products because the demand, we have more demand than we have supply for it. So, that's a really great question, and something that we're definitely, currently, starting to deploy some marketing tactics to get more inventory in the door that's, broader and can serve all of our customers, because it's important to us to have, an inventory selection that's huge. 6-10 times what we have now very soon is the goal. And then to answer your question about the ethical product. So I don't have a filter right now that, deems this product ethical. What you can do now, you have to actually look into the product specs to see is what the material of the product is. You can find things that are 100% cotton. You can find things that are blended. You can find, you'll be able to figure out, that's the only way right now that you can figure that out. And it is a great feature for us to be responsible for. This is a sustainable fashion platform essentially. And we know that it's an important, being able to shop ethically is super important to a lot of people, and that trend is growing. We're really excited to see that trend growing. And so, having a set of standards to deem like a product essentially ethical is very important. And I'm going to add that to the roadmap right now. Let me put that on the list.
All right.
Oh, and I would say then, if there are specific, again, just back to the ethical conversation, if there are specific brands that we have now that are ethical, then you can actually search the website by brand. Okay, so our next question is, do you have a Q&A process in place for each piece? And is that a big part of your expenses?
Yeah, great question. I was going to actually go on to the operations part of our business.
My favorite.
As that's probably a lot of what's on everybody's mind if you look behind us. So what we have done is that we have designed our in-house proprietary quality assurance process. We do inspect every piece that comes in to make sure that they are not stained, damaged, or teared, and they're authentic. Now, I want to highlight we have developed an in-house system that can actually process, including the speccing and reviewing the each piece down to a very, very short time frame. And what is our time now from the minute a piece of product arrives in our facility to getting it all specced out to be listed?
It's 2 minutes and 45 seconds.
Yeah. There you go.
So we can get a product. Okay, so in the 2 years that we've been working on this, right, and fundraising, going through all this, sat in this office and figured out the fastest humanly way possible to get these products onto the website. So, I have another person on the team who is incredibly brilliant as well in operations and also in photography technology. So we're able to, get a product, spec it out, get it on the model and photographed by her and onto the website in about 2 minutes and 45 seconds.
Yeah. And when I spoke to our competitors about their timing, most people were doing averaging 10 to 7 minutes. And that is something that we're extremely proud of. And this is really also, in addition, we've been doing it with our sort of like basic tools that we have. And part of the funding, we already have the solution to optimize this process even further. And we're very confident that we can easily get it down to below 2 minutes per product. And make sure that the quality is high quality.
Yeah, and I think just to add to that, we about 80% of the products we receive, they're qualified for the website. And why we have such a high qualification rate is that we educate the customers when they join the service around, what products are we going to actually keep, and we don't send them back to the customer. So if a product does not meet our quality standards, that product is going to either be donated to a charity because the condition of that product is an excellent condition. But if it's a lower quality brand, such as any fast fashion brands like H&M or Forever 21, we don't keep that stuff on the website. And why? Even when it's in excellent condition and even new with tags, as those products won't last through multiple trades. So one thing that we've also capitalized on is most companies, when it comes to like a product return, they have like a no-go policy for it because it's expensive to like manage and handle returns. However, ours, we can relist products that come back and are essentially returned within seconds. And that's something that we're really excited about. And, we want to be able to continue to recirculate these fashion items as you wear a dress to a wedding and then, to another event, and then you decide that you're not going to wear it again. We're going to get that dress to the hands of somebody else. And those quality pieces are the ones that we're going to keep. Now, those products that are actually in detrimental condition right now, we're working with a partner called ICO. ICO has a whole textile repurposing facility where they, they'll turn it into new thread. They'll turn it into multiple new products, and you can see that process online on our campaign page towards the bottom in the sustainability section.
Right. And just to give you guys some numbers of why we're actually doing this, again, is some of our products, right? Probably some of the most active products. We've seen them being traded in and out like 5 times already.
Yeah.
Which means that we can monetize one piece of garment 5 times, right? So there are 5 sets of transaction being paid, or 5 members who are paying membership fees, and with 0 cost at acquiring this piece of clothing. This is again, for the people who are more in numbers and investment minded, this is a huge opportunity that we're tapping into. It's actually the rotation and the returns process allow us to generate 2x, 3x, 5x the revenue as they get traded in. So we love returns.
We're really fast at getting them back on the website. Okay, so the question here we have now is, what's the rate of return products?
Yeah, that's a great question. And, I have to, first of all, before answering that, just to give you guys a sense, a lot of our products are pretty new, and a lot of users are pretty new. So they haven't had a chance to return it, because the cycle of returns happen anywhere between, I would say, 2 months to 6 months.
Yeah.
Or even longer, right? So last week I saw a product that I haven't seen for a year, and it came back to us. So right now, based on the existence of the company, right, and how long our users have been around, it's at about 20 to 30% of the products.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm actually looking at the sheet of the data. I'm actually looking at the data right now.
And we're expecting it
accurate.
To grow. We're expecting the trend to actually go up to probably about 50%.
Yeah, that's logical.
And with the return products, I want to highlight, we don't have processing costs, because we take 1 set of photos, we do 1 set of specking. As they get returned, they get relisted immediately without processing costs.
Exactly. And then, the problem that we're out to solve here is that women, we buy clothes that we don't wear, and then we keep buying more clothes that we don't wear. So, we would naturally, if, our business model essentially alters that paradigm and solves that solution, we will see a lot more products being traded in and out.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. I got a question. Well, I'm going to answer the last one that came in before I answer the one above it. So what happens if pieces don't fit? It's a new trade-in. So if you send, if you take, you shop with your points, we send it to your house, you try it on, it doesn't fit you, you request a new trade-in kit, and then you send that garment back in, and then you get your points back for it. And almost every single time our users send in a whole nother bag of inventory, because they start, editing that closet, and there it goes. There comes more stuff. Okay. That's that question. And if you have any other further questions about that, let me know. Now we have, do you have numbers on how many people use the platform to buy once versus trading in and out ongoingly?
Yeah, I can take that. So our retention rate on the platform is 85%. So which means that almost, majority, all of our users use the product multiple times. And then we have groups of so-called power users who use the product literally on a weekly basis. And on average, we're seeing a turnover of 1 to 2 months is the average. So we have a variety of behaviors, but yes, the nature of our business and the fact that the points are actually retained within our ecosystem, in a way, like, encourages and pushes people to come back to use us, just like loyalty programs with frequent flyer miles, right? You stick to your program
and your credit card
and raise it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Anything else on that? We have another question. Ready?
That's it. Yeah.
Okay. So what are your marketing strategies?
Yeah, great question. So we started organically with referrals. That has worked as to a certain extent to get to our first group of a few hundred users. And now the next marketing tactics that we're deploying are through social media, right? So this is a consumer product, and social media is going to be the key for us. And what has been really successful is Facebook and Snapchat engagements. Just to give you a sense, the demographics of our users are actually anywhere from their mid-20s to mid-50s. So it's a very wide range of demographics. And the theme that has really worked, the marketing message that has really worked for us is that this is a life hack. And
sure is.
That resonates. That message resonates with across all demographics. So going forward, we are targeting specific, and this is the broad marketing strategy. On specific marketing, we are targeting engagement groups. So engagement groups means 2 engagement groups we're going after. One is moms and new moms, women who are in transition, right? Especially with the closets, and also and the sorority ladies and the sorority alumni. And Erin was the vice president of her sorority. So we'll have an expert here. And there's an existing behavior of these tight communities doing clothing swaps and exchanges already organically. And so the incentive then now for them is to go from organic physical to online.
Yeah. So
that's a natural trend.
Yeah. So when I was in college, we traded clothes all the time. I mean, it was just like a natural thing. And then after I graduated, I was really disappointed that I didn't have access to that anymore. And so that was another like, aha, I can still trade clothes with all my friends. That was brilliant. That was a brilliant thing that really attracted me to this business model and had me know it's going to work. And then the other things I think that marketing strategies related that we can also add to is we have and we do physical events for people when they have really big, huge fashion swaps. Hundreds of people at them will attend, and that's been effective for like the smaller girl stuff. But one thing that we found really effective that we did early on, which was free, is we were interviewed on a podcast for sustainable living. That was really great targeted audience for us. A lot of people joined from that. In January, we have podcasts lined up every week. And we're going to continue to talk about, sustainability, the problem that we're solving, it's a very, this problem, like the market is huge in fashion, and this specific type of solution that we're providing is very unique and it's not out there, other than, so anyways, so that's that.
All right, our next question. So would you say that the most valuable technology process you have developed is the quick Q&A, the digital currency, and what else? Okay, you are pretty accurate in that sense that the digital currency in the nature of itself is very unique. And the replication of that is actually not as easy as you would think. Because we have an in-house model that allows us to quickly price and fair value the points and reward system. And secondly is the curation process is definitely our internal intellectual property that we have developed, and everything it is done in-house. So yes, these are the 2 pieces of core differentiations that we have.
Yeah, and then the inventory. Okay, so then the next question is, what are your costs to send kits for people to send in clothes? And what if they don't send in clothes? What's your loss?
Yeah, so the cost for one bag of clothes to return to us is anywhere from $5 to $7 across the country.
Yep.
If they don't return it, we get the shipping label refunded to us. So there's actually no cost. There's no loss.
Just the mail, just like the actual mail, like the stamp on because we put a stamp on the package that we send to the customer, which is like 60 cents or something.
Yeah, we lose. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
we lose
that's
the outgoing envelope, which is 60 cents.
Yeah.
But other than that, we incur no loss. And in addition, the acquisition of each bag we pay $5 to $7. The value of the products that people actually sending one bag could be thousands of dollars worth of products. Right?
It's awesome.
We've acquired.
It's awesome. See,
we've acquired, like very high-end Burberry's, Prada, Dolce & Gabbana products. So it's well worth it.
All right, let's see. Next question in the chat box.
I'm just really glad to see the level of engagement on this so far. And it's already 1:45, so time passes when you're having fun. All right, so I think the other thing that's worth mentioning while we're waiting for the next question.
Wait, someone has so many other questions. Type away.
Oh, okay.
That's what we're here for.
Okay, we can wait we can wait a little bit. Yeah.
3 biggest challenges.
Okay, great question. So I would say the biggest challenge, and we really do have, we can envision our solution for it already, is the accurate prediction and recommendation of products for our users. One of the things that people are experiencing on other platforms, right, resale platforms already, and part of the reason why eBay is now being quickly replaced by these startups is that people are sick and tired of browsing through thousands of products and not finding what they want, right? So that is a problem that's across the board, and I haven't seen a solution for it yet. You can go to the RealReal, you can go to ThreadUp, you can see the way you have to filter and browse. It takes 20 minutes just to probably find the piece that you want. So with SilkRoll, it's an opportunity and a challenge, is that once we have enough data set, then we can accurately predict based on your style profile, right, and your virtual closet, the tags. So on the back end of what you guys don't see is that we heavily tag each product down to the spectrum of this is a ruffle, this is a pleather, this is a gray lace, all of the specking. And we can, once we accumulate enough data set, we can then more accurately predict the preferences of users, and then match the closets of the users to each other.
Yeah, so
and that's really the ultimate feature goal for us. But yes, the challenge would be to get there. We need a huge data set.
Exactly,
and that goes to hands in hands with
technology
with
technology.
Growth.
Yeah. So that's challenge number 1.
Yeah.
Number 2.
That's really, I think that's really the main challenge that we have. There are daily challenges, of course, as a startup, growth, hitting metrics, recruiting, but I would say that's the main one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't really see anything bigger than that. Yeah. So eventually,
okay. Do you want to connect users directly? Yes and no. Yes, they are already connected. So if you go to our website, you can actually see every piece of garment, where they came from and who they came from, and you can follow each other on user profiles, and you can see who's following you. You can browse their virtual closets. So they're already connected. And when I referred to earlier about building the web app, is that it's going to allow a better notification and engagement feature. And the reason, and the no part is really this is not a peer-to-peer marketplace, as in we don't allow people to be talking to each other on the site. And partially because there's no need for that right now. And there's development cost involved, and user research, user experience. There's a whole set of
monitoring
cost.
Yeah.
And monitoring content, qualifying user-generated content, which is an entire different space and an entire different challenge. And we don't expect that to be something that we want to do in the next 1 to 2 years. All right.
All right, we're ready for the next question.
If not, I want to give everybody a sense, really, the investors out there, really, to dig your teeth into really the opportunity out there, right? So we've put up some numbers, and it may be easy to overlook them. But when we think about how big this market is, right now in the United States alone, e-commerce market is valued at $300 to $400 billion a year, and that is on retail.
Yeah.
However, having said that, retail is actually suffering, right? So the trend in profitability is declining, and you can see on our campaign page we have actually a chart for that, and that is really because millennials, especially, are more attuned to the sharing economy. They're more familiar with the sharing economy, and they're happier to exchange resources than, let's say, the older generations, right? And there is a really big behavior change that we as a startup at this time, this age, can capitalize on. This is where the opportunity is. Consumer behavior is changing forever. With services like Uber, Airbnb, all the guys that are actually tapped into the sharing economy space, they're making the killing out there. And that is really because they're riding on millennials' mindset that access is actually more important than ownership, right? We're starting to care less and less about what I own, how much I own. But with the social trends, we want to be able to access new things, try out different experiences, and the way that women, not just women, actually men as well, the way we're dressing, the way we're showing up in social environments is part of our experience of who we are, right? So we and a lot of users give us the feedback, oh wow, SilkRoll allows me to experiment with new styles and see myself, like wearing a type of dress I would probably wouldn't wear before. And even if I wanted to, I didn't want to splash $300 on it. Now this gives them the flexibility to try things out freely. And because, this entire shift in the dynamic, overall, the resale market, right, as in the secondhand market, has seen explosive growth in the past few years. And I think this is one of the reasons that we're really catching on with this trend and with a huge differentiation model that locks our users and builds loyalty.
Totally.
Early on.
Totally. All right. You ready for the next question?
Yep.
Okay. So the data for customers so the data is for the customers to more easily find items, not directly trade, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's the curated content for you. Okay, so active users, we have on the side about 1,500, 1,800 a month, monthly active users. And we're growing really fast as well after the kick of our marketing campaigns. Our users are growing at 20 to 30% a month right now. And this is only the beginning.
Yeah.
So
we're laughing because we had a really successful marketing day yesterday, last night is today.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to have different numbers to show next month, I have to say.
Yeah, it's really changing really fast. Yeah.
It's exciting. It's really exciting. And this is like by nature a word of mouth product as well. So the tipping point will have the viral growth continue to
Yeah, and it's really amazing to see with the earlier pool of when we didn't go out into the market, when we're still in the beta phase, the transaction volume was this much. That really goes to speak the engagement of our users.
Yep. All right. So Janet, what's the minimum investment amount?
Okay, so that's a good question. For those of you who haven't seen our campaign yet, you can go to visit republic.co/SilkRoll, and we can type the URL there. The minimum investment amount is $100, and the maximum investment amount for any individual user, individual investor, is $107,000. Any investment amount beyond $2,200, you will need answer a quick question. You'll see in that dashboard a disclosure of your income and net worth in order to put anything beyond $2,200. And for investment interests beyond that, you can reach out to me directly, janet@silkroll.com, and we have separate allocations and placements in this round outside of the crowdfunding. Yeah, the crowdfunding is limited at those levels.
And I'm typing all this in for everybody.
Great. I think we have 4 minutes before our live webcast ends. Thank you so much for participating and listening to the founders really share. It has been an incredible journey with plenty of challenges for those of you who have either founded attempted to find a company and run a company. You might know what this is like. Not one day is the same. We are constantly evolving and expanding and coming up with new challenges along the way. At the end of the day, the reason that we're doing this and the reason we gave up our careers and jobs and stable income to do this is really because we are both very connected to the mission of shifting the way that consumers consume. It's not sustainable and it's detrimental to our environment. And with access to the internet and information technology, we can change that, and we will. So the quality and the reasons that we attract high quality products on our site is that high quality products last throughout time. They last 30 to 40, 50 years. And our consumers really don't have to go and buy another piece of $20 Forever 21 dress to go to a party. And this is really our mission, is to shift that behavior. Yeah.
And the last question that we have that I'll address, which is, are we hiring? And are we only hiring in San Francisco or possibly remote other cities? I'm currently, next semester we're kicking off a huge nationwide internship brand ambassador program on campuses across the country. That's going to be a really big, shift for us in expansion. And we're definitely open to having conversations with people who are, remote and in San Francisco around expansion. And then we'll be listing job openings over the next quarter on our website directly as we, continue to find a need for specific roles that we're not able to, fill as the operations expand.
Yep. At the same time, we're always looking for talents in the digital marketing and growth hacking space. So if anybody has lots of experience and expertise around that, feel free to reach out. All right, I think we're about time. So this may shut any minute now.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. And for those of you who have more questions, you can always reach out to us directly or post a question on the discussion board on our page, or contact us at hello@silkroll.com. All right, great. Awesome session.
Thank you for joining us. Have an awesome day. And then you can also email us any questions that you have if we didn't answer them and you don't want to post them on the discussion board. That's totally great. Again, I just put that email in the chat box as well. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.